Police in Melbourne and more than half a dozen angry consumers are on the warpath looking for a sham car dealer. So far, 7 people have come forward to say they sold their cars to a man they presume was a licensed car dealer, but they were left with dud cheques and no cars. They sold them to TWT Car Sales in the Melbourne suburb of Pascoe Vale. The man they dealt with was Greg Stapleton. When their cheques bounced, they returned to the car yard but found it had been closed down. As yet, it's not been worked out how Stapleton could take over a legitimate, well-established business, apparently operate as an authorised motor dealer, and then shut up shop after a few weeks and after an unknown number of sham deals. Andrea Listier reports.
This is the car yard in question, TWT Car Sales in Bell Street, Pascoe Vale. As you can see, it's well and truly shut down today, but when computer salesman Richard Budge was here just over 2 weeks ago, it was a very different story.
Looked like a normal car yard. It was full of cars, nice cars, not cheap ones. There were customers walking around that I saw. I had no reason to not believe what I saw when I got here. There was a mechanic on duty, a car detailer. The man who bought the car from me and his partner, it looked perfectly normal. The man concerned got his mechanic to take the car for a drive to ensure that it was all okay, and they'd done that, and we discussed the price over the phone before I came out, and once it had the mechanical okay, then after a little bit of haggling we agreed on the price.
Which was what?
Which was $11,500.
It wasn't until Richard banked his cheque from TWT Car Sales that he realised he had problems.
We were notified by the bank a couple of days later that the cheque had bounced. So I rang the man here, Greg, and I told him that his cheque had bounced, and he then told me that of course it had bounced because the cheque was post-dated 7 days, and if I'd posted it again or banked it again tomorrow, everything would be fine. Well, we did that. And of course the cheque did bounce again.
We are conducting an investigation into allegations of fraud from the car yard in Coburg.
Chief of Coburg CIB Detective Senior Sergeant Tony Campbell say they have 7 reports on TWT Car Sales and expect more.
The people have sold their cars to the car yard, received payment by cheque. The cheques have bounced.
TWT Car Sales has been trading for years and no one's had cause to doubt its legitimacy.
The car yard looked at perfectly legitimate. He has his LMCT number above the door.
It's registered as a car yard dealer. He did have some...
But what his victims didn't know was that Stapleton wasn't licensed. Until April, TWT Car Sales was owned by Jeffrey Teasdale, a licensed motor trader who operated the business legitimately. Teasdale sold the yard to Stapleton, but authorities say he did not advise anyone of the change of circumstances, as required by law. So Stapleton was illegally using Teasdale's licence number.
From talking to a number of different places, Consumer Affairs and the Motor Car Traders Committee and to the police, it would appear that the yard has been vacant for some time, and only in the last 5 or 6 weeks did Greg and his crew move in here, and it would appear that he set up deliberately just to rip people off, as he's done for me.
Well, as far as we can ascertain, the previous owner of TWT Car Sale left in April, legitimately. Since April, these events have occurred, and they have nothing to do with the last owner of the premises.
Well, it's pretty difficult, really. I mean, I have a wife and 2 kids and 2 mortgages on the house. I still owe $10,000 odd on the car, which I've got to keep making payments on for another few years yet.
If you could find him today, what would you do to him?
Well, I'm not really a violent person as such. All I'm interested in doing is getting either my property or my money back.
Well, there are 2 sides to every story, so Greg Stapleton, if you're watching tonight, we'd like to hear from you.